And also I should say that I like an interactive class. It's much more enjoyable when I can hear somebody else's voice besides my own. So please feel free to speak up and ask questions and chime in. Anytime you have an aha or something like that, I would love to hear your voice and not mine. So yeah, all righty. So today we are going to focus on a day in the life of a real estate agent. This is definitely something that is very purposeful to plan your day. There are so many things that you could do, but there's definitely a handful of things that you should plan for every single day. Before we get into the class itself, I do want to hear from you guys. What have been some of your biggest ahas in Ignite so far that you've learned?
Your database, your contacts, talking 3 hours each day to your clients, to your contacts, to the people. It's busy in the morning.
Yep, that is the most important part of your day, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, your database is your data bank, as they say. Okay, good one.
I think
what else?
You hate to do script practice. It's so key to getting out there and feeling comfortable talking with your database.
It really is. It gives you confidence. So I remember taking, there is a gentleman named Dave Jenks, and he's doing a series for us right now. He's a co-author of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and we were lucky enough to have him do a couple little classes for us over the summer. And I remember him teaching one where he was talking about where he was in a classroom one time, and he said, by a show of hands, how many people think that lead generation is the most important part of your business? And of course, we all learned, like, yes, everyone's raising their hand. And he's like, no, he's like, yeah, right. Yep. So then he said, all right, how many people think that lead follow-up is the most important part of your business? And then of course, a few hesitant hands went up because they were like, well, if it's not lead gen, it must be lead follow-up. And then he said, okay, how many of you think that script practice is the most important part of your business? And like very few people raised their hand. Well, he argued that that was actually the most important part of your daily activities. Now, why do you think that is?
You got to sound like you know what you're talking about, and you got to be confident about it too.
Yes, the confidence part, because if you're afraid, like how many of you have picked up the phone or not picked up the phone, I should say, because you're afraid you're going to get the appointment? Have you ever had that happen? It seems silly, but it has happened to me before. Where I'm almost afraid to get the appointment because then I'm like, oh my gosh, now I actually have to show that I'm, I know what I'm doing.
I have to do something.
Yeah, right, exactly. So really, even though we hate script practice, and maybe we can call it something else because it just sounds, maybe we could just call it knowing what to say, when to say it. Objection handle, whatever. Even objection handling, I think, is a scary thing to call it. But whatever you need to do to be okay with it is so important because it really will make everything else easier. It'll make picking up that phone easier because you'll have the confidence going into it. So, yeah, I think it was Kristen. You're the one who mentioned scripts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 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 That's all right. You guys will get there. You'll get there.
Not my most favorite, but I have to say when we do practice online, it's helpful because otherwise you have to either practice with your husband or practice with a partner or somebody. And I guess maybe you don't always do that.
Right, exactly. One of the biggest blessings that came out of quarantine for us team leaders is we started meeting with our fellow team leaders every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we were doing script practice. And boy, I'll tell you, at first it sounded horrible, but it was one of the best things that came out of quarantine for us. It was definitely a blessing in disguise. So, all right.
I think,
Yep.
Oh, for me, hi, I'm Candace.
Hi, Candace.
Hi. So for me, I don't even know where this aha came from, but I think it's from when we talk about like writing 10 thank you notes and all of that, like what we need to be doing every single day. And so I was trying to think of a creative way in which to, I guess, put myself out there as well as, what is it called? Like not necessarily write a thank you notes because I don't know enough people to write thank yous to. So I actually last night started making Mayday baskets.
Oh, okay.
and I posted on our Facebook group for my neighborhood asking people because of COVID if they would like a Mayday basket. I've gotten so many responses.
That's
And-
great.
And then they're like, how much does it cost? I'm like, it's free
Oh,
because my card's in there.
right.
But it's cute because I bought everything I needed on like at the dollar store. Like I got little packets of seeds, some candies, some like little green grass to go in the back. They're cute, right, Olivia? You like them?
Guys, they're adorable and they have cream savers. And if you guys know what cream savers are, like I'd take every basket. That's like the best idea.
I'll make
Wait,
you
did
one,
you say
Olivia.
cream savers as in like the lifesaver that's like
Yeah, you
in
remember
my
those?
food? Oh my gosh, yes. I used to love those, the strawberry ones.
So I
So
put those in like strawberry starbursts.
Oh,
And then- And it's I think, and I've gotten so much response of people being like, yeah, I'm pregnant and I can't leave my house, or my wife has a new baby, can you bring her one? And it's just like, you now have a new baby coming, so you might need a new house.
yes. Whatever keeps you top of mind. I think so many agents think that they have to do the things that all, the other agents do, like cold calling or whatever, but truly you do what feels good to you. Do you guys know who Dick Dillingham is? You guys might not know who he is yet, but you'll learn. He is another amazing instructor in our company, and he teaches a class called Quantum Leap. Highly recommend. It's probably my favorite class I've taken at Keller Williams. If you can take it, I highly recommend it. But he talks about in Quantum Leap how he is not your typical like agent personality. Many of us think that you have to be like a high D if you've taken the DISC assessment, like a driver and a go-getter and and no nonsense. He's not. He's a high I, which is the more people-oriented, relationship-oriented. And he does this funny little analogy. And I wasn't planning to grab a piece of paper. Not analogy, but he says, when he got into the real estate business, he said, these are my options for lead generation right here. This paper represents all the options. And he's like, all right, well, he said, I could cold call. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm never going to do that. And he rips that piece off. And then he says, all right, what's another thing? I could do mailers. Don't have the budget for that. Not interested in that. So that goes to that option. He says, I can do door knocking. That sounds awful. And I'm never going to do that. Rip that off option right off. All right, what else could I do? I could do community events. I don't know that many people, I don't think I want to do that. That seems like it has a big budget. I'm not gonna do that. I can network with the groups I belong to. Yeah, he's like, I really like that. He's like, I know people, I like to go to events, I like to go to parties, and I'm just gonna do that. He's like, that's the one thing that I can do and I can commit to that. So he took that one option right there and he just went for it like full commitment and did that. That was his thing. If you choose something that you hate, you're never going to do it. So don't choose the thing that you hate. Choose the thing that you feel good about and do it consistently. Consistency is so much more important than having like many different things going on. So find the one thing that you feel good about that you can do consistently that's going to keep you top of mind with people. We have an agent in my office. His name is JD Isles. He loves history, and he started a Facebook series called Hidden Landmarks, where he goes around to like local historical places in our area, and he does a Facebook Live series. Never really talks about real estate during the series, but when people follow his page because they like Hidden Landmarks, he'll sprinkle in real estate related things so that he stays top of mind with them and something that he enjoys, something that they're interested in, and they remember he works in real estate because he just kind of ties that in naturally. So I thought that was a really, really cool idea. So think about what you guys can do that you really can enjoy, that you can just take advantage of with your real estate. So, all righty. Any other big ahas before we get into the bulk of today? All right, well, let's get into it then. Okay. All right, so just a quick review. When you're looking at your real estate day, you guys have seen this before. There are two different ways that you work in your business. You work on growing your business and running your business. Can anyone remind us what the difference between these two are? You guys remember?
If you don't have the first one, you won't get the second one.
Yeah, that's a very simple and accurate way to explain that. If you're not working on the part of growing your business, there's no need to run it because you don't have any clients. So lead generating for buyers and sellers, making seller listing presentations and getting listings, making buyer presentations and getting buyer listings, they call it, and also previewing real estate. So there's that piece. And then there's the running the business part. Today, we're going to bring it all together and examine how successful real estate agents structure their day. We're going to be using what we've learned and practiced so far about growing and running our business and revisiting your 411s. Did you guys work on your 411s in a previous class? No, maybe? Well, we'll talk about that again. I love the 411. That's my very favorite goal setting and I guess goal executing tool. I use it on a daily basis. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about accountability, which is also one of those words like script practice that has a bad like tone or a bad, we just don't think great things about accountability, but really it is a great thing to have in your world. So this is what the day is going to look like. We just talked about the difference between growing your real estate business and running your real estate business. And next we're going to talk about how to set your weekly and daily objectives. All right. A powerful quote, people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Ooh, what does that mean? Does that resonate with anybody? Yeah.
It's what you're doing every day.
Yep.
It goes right back to what you just said, Andrea, consistency.
Yep. And it's everything you do, the way you think, the way you behave, what you put in your body, all of that decides who you're going to be tomorrow. So if you're going to develop habits, they should be the kind that are making you better than, instead of the kind that are making you not so great. In the book, The One Thing, Gary Keller quotes FM Alexander, which is who had this quote right here. And he said, this is how we basically cultivate ourselves for success. So let's talk a little bit about what good habits, if you're going to create good habits around your schedule, these are the type of things that you're going to want to put in your day-to-day. So this is just an overview example of the day in the life of a real estate agent, hence the name of today's class. All right, so this agent has on their schedule 8 to 8:30 is motivation time. All right, why is that important?
If you don't have it's like affirmations and because if you're not motivated for your day, you're gonna be a crummy person to work with.
Totally. And that can start the second you get out of bed. What is one thing that so many of us do as soon as we wake up in the morning that can either make or break our day?
Have a cup of coffee.
Oh, yes. Yes, that is a good one. For me, that definitely makes my day. There's something else though that I'm thinking about that, and maybe not you might not have this habit, but I know that so many people do. What is something that a lot of us do?
Go to the gym. That's a habit.
That's a good one too. I'm thinking of one that could
make your bed. Grab your phone.
Oh, I make my bed.
Yeah, making your bed. There's a whole book on that about how making your bed is like a good way to like start the day. I haven't read it, but my husband's actually reading it. In the chat, Brandy, you put what I was thinking. Checking your phone. That can be, what can happen when you check your phone the first thing when you roll out of bed?
You could have a bad text message and that can set your whole mood.
Yep.
It's happened.
Indeed.
Charge your phone. Make sure your phone's on a charger.
Yeah, you definitely want to charge your phone to get you through the day. But I mean, I was in such a bad habit of opening up social media like first thing, and I would see something that would just get me, just not in a good mindset. So that's not a great habit to have. What can you swap out in your morning routine that's going to build your motivation that will actually energize you and not drain you?
Watch Rocky. That's what I did this morning. No joke.
Really?
Yeah, I was motivated. I was like, hell yeah, I could be like Rocky.
Whatever works. Everybody's different. Whatever works for you. Seriously.
I've definitely been listening to the podcast a little bit more. So I like the one podcast.
Oh, the One Thing podcast?
The One Thing podcast. I do listen to that. And like on the way to work or something like that. Or when I wake up getting ready, brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
I also put out like good energy to the universe. Like if people pray, that's what it's a version of that. But I'll just thank the world for the day.
Yeah.
I also like podcasts. I listen to Tim Ferriss. regularly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's
Yep.
got some good ones.
I fix my bed in the morning. It gives me motivated. It gives me something like I'm doing something, and it kind of inspires me to do more. All right, the little things in the morning will add up to big things towards your end of your day. So you have to do little things that motivate you. And fixing a bed. Well, some people don't like to fix bed, but I do because that's the way I like to start my morning.
Yes, it's a first easy thing you can accomplish.
Yep.
There's a saying that if people who don't make their beds have an increased chance of getting into an accident. So that's why I make my bed.
Really?
Yeah.
That one. Oh my gosh.
That's why I heard that when people wake up in the morning and they first make their bed, they have an increased chance of like doing anything else during the day, whether it's cleaning or like it gives you that motivation. Bed is the first thing you do, and then you can do everything else.
Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, there's anything you can do that gets you in the right mindset. Listening to upbeat music, that's a really good one too. Don't listen to music that's going to bring you down. Listen to something that gets your energy going. I am a firm believer in exercising first thing in the morning. I know it's not easy for everybody. It's not easy for me, honestly, either. It's never been easy for me to roll out of bed like early in the morning. It's always difficult. But, it's not that I'm not a morning person. I'm definitely a morning person. I just don't wake energized. I never have. But I do find that if I get up and I exercise, that energy carries me through the day. So it's definitely worth it. So some things that I've gotten in the habit of, I just want to share with you guys. Got my little props over here. The first thing I do when I come into the office is I look at my vision board. So every year I create a vision board. This year's was a little bit difficult because of COVID. Hold on, guys, there's people in the waiting room. Okay. But I'll put things on here like quotes. This year I had a lot of quotes because it was hard for me in the beginning of 2021 to think about tangible results, if that makes sense, because I didn't know. My future was so uncertain. So instead of doing like, buying a new car or get, things like that, this year it was more about like quotes that inspired me. So I do come into the office and I do try to take a minute to really look at my vision board every single day. Because if I don't, then it just kind of sits there and collects dust. So I did have to create a habit around actually, looking at my vision board. I'll put things on there, like my family and a lot of, like I said, a lot of different quotes. So that's the first thing I do when I walk in to the office. Actually, I should say even starting before that, I got in the habit of listening to podcasts like you guys instead of listening to the radio, because the radio was just like a bunch of garbage. And so I've switched that out, and I will listen to a podcast in the morning when I'm getting ready and driving into the office. The next thing I do is, I review my GPS plan for the market center, which is the big picture plan. Have you guys learned about the GPS and the 411 yet?
Yeah. Yes.
Some of you? Yeah, so just really quickly, your GPS is your overview of like your whole year. So you define your main goal, then you define your priorities. So there's one main goal, and then there's 3 priorities that are going to get you to your main goal. And then under each priority, you have different strategies that are going to support that priority that's going to get you to the main goal. So that's what the GPS is. So I'll quickly run my eyes over our GPS for the market center. And then I have my own 411, which is specific to me and my role. And I'll look at that every morning. I'll just run my eyes over my 411 and make sure that I have, that I'm on track to get to my, do the important activities. And we're going to talk more about the 411 later this morning. So that's helpful. Then the next thing I do is I have it's called have you guys heard of a bullet journal before? This is something that it took Andrea on a huge tangent about 3 years ago, I would say. I found an article and it was like how to be like 10 ways to be a better grown-up in the year 2019 or whatever year it was. Number 1, start a bullet journal. I was like, what is a bullet journal? And that took me off on this tangent and I never revisited the article again. But a bullet journal is a really cool way to stay organized. It's like a planner that you create from scratch. And you can really do anything that you want with it. But the way I have mine set out is every day I have the first thing I do is I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. Somebody said putting, oh, I think it was, who was it that said putting out like positive energy into the environment? Candace, yeah. That's the same kind of thing. So thinking about what I'm grateful for, because it puts you in a positive mindset versus the negative mindset. And then this is just airy fairy stuff, but I'll write 10 dreams that I made happen. So things that I want to accomplish, I write it in the present tense. It just gets me aware of the things around me that could support getting to that goal. And then I have my to-do list for the day that I separate in my 20% activities and my 80% activities, and we'll review what that is again. So those are the things that I do in the morning to get motivated. Then I check my email, because if I checked my email first, what would happen? None of
You're all day.
Yeah, right. None of the other stuff would happen, because all of a sudden I'd be putting out this fire and this fire and that fire. I will tell you guys also that Tuesdays and Thursdays, before I check my email and do anything, I do my script practice with my team leaders, although I didn't do it today because I was getting ready for this, but usually that's top priority on my list as well. Alrighty, then we have 8:30 to 11:30, the daily success habits, lead generation and follow-up. Why isn't that 4:30 to 5:30? Why do you guys think?
Towards the end of the day, that's you're ready to leave and you just want to make sure that you know where you're going the next day.
Right. If you don't do that in the morning, then, well, all right, what other reasons could we have that first thing in the morning?
Something happens in the afternoon,
Yeah.
so you can
Things-
get it done. Get it done in the morning, you want it done.
Yep. Have you guys found that that's true, that when you're in the morning hours, you have much more control over your time than at further you get along in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I got home after this and all of a sudden it was 3.
Yeah. All of a sudden out of nowhere, it was 3 o'clock. I know time goes by so fast. And, some days, yes, like you do have control, but there's other days where things happen and you have to, especially if you're doing a really good job growing your real estate business, the running your business part is going to take you all over the place. So you really have to prioritize the growing piece, because you know what happens. You have to write an addendum. You got to do this. You've got to, follow up with this client, yada, yada. So, and the other thing about that is, this is up for debate, but many people will argue, including Gary Keller, that you're most energetic during that part of the day. And the lead generation part can be a little bit more labor intensive, because for a lot of people, it's not the easy stuff. The easy stuff is the 80% activities that you can quickly cross off your to-do list. The lead generation piece takes a little bit more mental energy. So when you do it in the morning, you're fresher, you're from a whole night's sleep, you don't have the stress of the day pulling you down. So there's a few different reasons why you should do it in the morning. All right, lunch. This might be a trick. Well, this isn't a trick question, but why is it so important to schedule a lunch in your day?
You lose track of time. You get so busy and caught up, you lose track of time.
And then what happens?
All of a sudden it's 3 o'clock, you've been starving for 3 hours and you probably don't feel great.
You need that break. You need time to refuel your body and refresh. And, I am guilty of it, where I will eat lunch at my desk and I know I shouldn't. Monica Reynolds, who is now the president of MAPS Coaching, she used to have a class, she probably still has it, called the Perfect Real Estate Assistant. And it was a class that I took when I first started. With her operations administrators, if they don't take a lunch, she will fire them. She's like, I'm not impressed by that. I'm not, you working through your lunch does nothing for me. All it does is burn you out quicker. And your performance the second half of the day is not going to be as good as it would be if you took a lunch. Now, here's another reason. Well, I'm thinking in my brain of another reason why you should always have a lunch spot on your schedule blocked out. What other reason would that be important?
Time you can
Meet
make.
with a
connections.
client.
Oh, I heard 2 people, and I think you guys both said the same idea. Well, I think, Michelle, what were you saying?
Whoever said client, I said it differently, but it's for you to make connections with other people. It might not be a
Yes.
client appointment. You just go to lunch with someone else besides yourself. To make
Yes.
connect.
Yes, you guys, and Candace, I think you said the same thing. Oh, someone else said it. Kristen?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys get a gold star. Absolutely. That will give you a time blocked time that you can do a networking lunch with somebody. It could be a client, it could be a mortgage lender, you know, an allied resource of some sort. Yeah, if you always have that blocked out, you can always put it with a great conversation with someone, even a coworker. You can go have a great accountability discussion, which we'll talk about that later in the business or later in the day too. So good job, guys. Gold stars. Okay. Then after lunch, then you do your running the business activities. And that is a lot of different things. It's marketing your seller listings. You know, that's when you show buyers houses. Now, do we know that buyers can always meet every day? Is it going to be that a buyer can always meet you from 12:30 to 2:30 every day?
No.
No, we know that that's not how that works. If you have to put a buyer in from 8:30 to 11:30, what do you do with your success habits?
Move them.
You just let them fall off your schedule and you say, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to do that today.
You move them to your 11:30 block.
Exactly. Yep. You don't remove, you have to reschedule that in there because it's still super important. But I think you guys will find that you have more control over your time than you think you do. I think so many people think they have to, you know, jump at every opportunity exactly when their client says, but I think you'll find that if you set an expectation that you can't meet during certain hours, maybe not in this market, like this too shall pass. I understand right now that homes are like, you have got to get in there and see it, but try to get back to a regular routine if you can. People will respect that. And remember, you teach people how to treat you. So just keep that in mind, but I get it. I get it. All right, what else? Negotiating contracts, that goes under that time when you run the business activities. Transaction management, so managing your contract to close stuff, making sure the lender has a copy of the contract, making sure the home inspection is scheduled, all those things that you guys will learn about when you talk about contract to close. Setting goals, they have in here about, you know, take some time to revisit your goals and set new goals, all of that. Compliance and risk management, that's super important. Remember, you have to be compliant with the state and with your market center and all of that. So you want to take the time to think about your contracts and do your corrections if they're requested. Attending training and getting coaching, that's another great thing to put during that spot. Training is huge. You can take the same class from a different instructor and get a different takeaway. So I really, really recommend being in training. It's going to keep you guys sharp. It's going to keep you motivated. So please don't let that fall off of your priority list. You'll see the best top agents are always the ones going to spring masterminds and family reunion, mega camp, all of that. So I hope you guys will keep that important part of your day. Managing your money. That's another habit that a lot of agents kind of get into later. You really should be thinking about that now. Do you have a P&L that you follow? I think you guys took an agent financials class already, right? Yeah, did you guys have any good takeaways from that? Did it seem overwhelming? It seemed okay.
I haven't taken one.
No. So yeah, just having a simple P&L, a way to track your business expenses so that when you do your taxes at the end of the year, you can get as many deductions as possible, and tracking if you're investing in any kind of lead generation and making sure you get a return on that. So I recommend getting in a good habit with managing your money as early as possible. And then we have the grow the business activities that not including the lead generation, but the other stuff like previewing real estate, doing your appointments, meeting with clients, all of that. That should also have pre-reserved time blocks in your calendar so that you can go ahead and fill those as you're doing your lead generation. 4:30 to 5:30, reviewing your calendar for the next day and making your success list. Why is that important?
Make sure you're on track of everything and keep everything lined up and be confident for the following day.
Yep, exactly. It just gets you in the right mindset so you can tackle the next day and come into the office and be ready to go. Absolutely. And then family time and personal time. Please don't let real estate take over your entire life. Remember, be present where your feet stand. If you are able to be present in your real estate work while you're there fully, if you can, and I get it, I have little ones, because if you do that, then when you go home, you can be fully present there because you know you did what you needed to do. If you're not fully focused in either area, you're never going to feel like you're doing a great job anywhere. At least that's my experience anyway. So, and don't try to do too much. That's another thing. You guys, you know, you don't have to do everything. Just take it piece by piece. I don't know if you've seen that picture of two guys, like two little stick figures, and they're both standing at the bottom of a ladder. And it's like the one ladder has these giant steps and he can't reach them because he's trying to do too much. And the other one has like little steps. Have you guys seen that before? Yeah. Think of that, like just try, you know, do manageable things. One lead generation activity, do it consistently. Don't try to do a bazillion things. Okey doke. All right. All right. So we're thinking about our daily success habits. We have this great tool called a 411. All right. So your 411 is your weekly goal, or basically like your weekly, we call them your big rocks. Okay. You're putting on your schedule for the week activities that are gonna move you forward towards your goal. Have you guys done this at all yet in Ignite? No. Okay, that's okay. This would be a great thing to do with your team leader. We're all trained on how to help agents create a 411 and a GPS. So I would highly recommend getting with your team leader and doing this. How it works is you're always reminding yourself of your yearly goal. So once you figure out what you want to accomplish for the year, so let's say you want to close 24 transactions, you would have your yearly goal on the top, 24 transactions. Then you would have your monthly goals. If you've done 2 a month and you're on track, then your goal would be 2. If you've fallen behind, then you would readjust as you go through. So let's say you didn't do 2 the first month, so then your next month, the goal would be to close 3. So you're just reminding yourself of your annual goal and your monthly goal. Then under your weekly goal, that's where you're putting your 20% activities. So let's revisit what the 20% means. Can anyone explain to me what the 80-20 principle is, or the Pareto's principle? You guys remember this?
20% of your activities will produce 80% of results, and then 80% of the activities only produce 20%.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So the 80-20 principle can help prioritize and focus on what's important. Vilfredo Pareto, which sounds like an Italian delicious dish, if you ask me, he was an Italian economist and discovered that 20% of our activities yield 80% of our results. When our actions are not focused on the 20% that matters, we don't get the results that we want. The 80-20 principle may be counterintuitive, but it works. Yeah, it's like you make your to-do list. It almost feels like the more items you have on your list, the more accomplished you're going to be. But really, that's not the case. You can have 1 or 2 things on your list and make amazing progress if you have the right things on your list.
The 80-20 principle's been used in all sorts of different aspects, including this right here, running. Some of the top runners in the world use the same principle. They run below peak heart rate for 80% of the time, then the other 20% of the time they kill it.
Yes.
That's how some of the fastest runners in the world work, as well as a lot of other athletes. If I just finished this book,
There you go.
so yeah, it's pretty much
Perfect. Yeah, that's true.
it goes across all aspects of life.
That's right. It really does apply to anything. So let's talk about it we talk about real estate, but let's talk about it in another way. If you were to feel your best, right, on a day-to-day basis, what would be the couple things that you could do that would make all the difference? Diet and exercise. 2 things. Eat the right food, move your body. There's only 2 things in that, and those can make a huge difference. In real estate, what would be your 20% activities that would yield you your greatest results?
Lead gen.
Yeah. Lead generation, getting leads, keeping yourself top of mind with people, because that is going to bring you the business. That's going to bring you the paycheck. What are some things that fall under the 80%?
I
So
mean,
important. Yep. Go ahead, Brandon.
that, I mean, even the examples that's on the screen right there, like the time with your family, being more organized.
Well, that would be the 80 results or 80% results that would come from focusing on your 20%. So if you focus on your 20%, you would make more money. You'd have more time with your family because you would be doing things that would allow you to be more organized or be able to take vacations, stuff like that. If you're building a team, let's say you get to a point where you don't have any time, you would add into your 20% effort finding the right admin or something like that. So the ultimate goal is to have more money, have the time with your family, feel more in control. So you want to focus on the activities that are going to get you there.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know, Scott, I'm really glad you brought up, you know, the running book you had, because the more you think about this, like you said, it's everything in life, 20% effort. I mean, I know I personally, like we just discussed 10 minutes ago, if you even just, you know, make your bed and neaten up your house before you leave, everything feels so much better, whatever it is throughout the day. Or a big thing for me is, you know, just having my nails done or whatever, just the little things that you can put minimal effort into, no matter what it is in life, everything seems to go so much smoother.
Yeah.
You know, throughout your whole day.
The quote, "The One Thing" by Gary Keller, what is the one thing that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? Yeah. Yep. So Stephen Covey compares our time to putting things into buckets. We can only fit so much in our bucket, but how we fill our bucket matters. If we start by filling our bucket with sand, we won't have room for the big rocks and gravel. But if we start with the big rocks first, then we can add the gravel, and the sand will fit in the space left over. Sand and gravel are the small things. They are the 80% that will only yield 20% of results in life. If we start with the big rocks, or 20%, then we will get the things done and still be able to fit in the gravel and the sand. So that's why we call the 20% the big rocks. You have got to fit those in your week first, then fill everything else around that. Because if you don't put those in, none of that's going to happen. So when you build your 411, the only thing really that should be on this are your 20% activities. And then everything else you fit in. Now, you're not time blocking your day from start to finish. You're just making sure when you look at your calendar, which is the next part of what we're going to talk about here, you're going to be putting in time blocks for those activities before anything else. Okay. All right. Now, you also want to think about when you're setting up your objectives or the things that you put on your 411, you want to run it through this filter right here to make sure that what you're putting on that list actually does make sense. Okay. So developing your daily objectives, you want to ask yourself, first of all, what is my goal? You'll notice, you know, on the 411, you're always reminding yourself what your goal is, because if these things are not supporting your goal, then they don't really make sense for you to be doing them. Then you want to have it be metric driven, which means you want to measure it in some way. As specific as you can get on your 411, the better off you're going to be. So instead of just putting lead generation on there, you might put like Candace, you're doing the baskets, right? You might do 5 baskets. You know what I mean? Like, you want to put a very specific thing on that schedule, because there's nothing worse, I'll tell you, and I've been here before, and I think most agents have, sitting down and being like, yep, I'm going to lead gen. And then you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, who I'm calling, what I'm saying. So you want to really put some time and thought behind that before you sit down and get super specific. Then you want to think about, is it attainable? Are you really going to call for 3 hours? Like, if you know that that's not going to happen, don't put that on your schedule. I'm going to call for 1 hour. That's going to make me feel accomplished. It's going to give me the micro win. That was a huge takeaway for me at Spring Masterminds. I don't know if any of you guys attended that, but we had a keynote speaker who talked about the importance of having micro wins. That's what keeps your momentum going. That's what gives you passion, and that's what gives you like drive to show up every day. So give yourself a goal that you can actually accomplish so that you feel those little micro wins that energize you. And in that same, so that would be the attainable piece of it. Purposeful. Is the goal in alignment with your weekly, monthly, and annual goals? Again, is it on my list for a reason because it's supporting my goal, or is it completely out of left field, really doesn't have anything to do with what I'm trying to accomplish? If that's the case, get that out of there and put something else in there, or just get it out of there and give yourself less to do. And then timely, when will it be accomplished? So what you're doing and by when. Okay, let's say you want to do client events and you want to do 4 quarterly. You want to have your first one in March, you're going to have your second one in July, you're going to have your third one in September, and your fourth one in December. So that's timely. It's when you want to have that accomplished by. Another great acronym, which I think is easier to remember than these random words here, is SMART. Have you guys heard of SMART goals before? Yeah, yep. Do you remember what it stands for? What does the S stand for? Specific.
Specific.
Yep, specific. So like I said, you want to be so specific with that. You want to know exactly what you're doing. Do you guys remember what the M stands for?
Measurable.
Measurable.
Yes, measurable, exactly. How many, for how long? Yep. Attain, oh, I'm sorry, I gave it away. What does A stand for? You'll never guess.
Attainable.
Attainable, right. It's not like totally undoable. It's something that you can actually accomplish and feel good about. How about R?
Like results driven or something?
Yes, there's actually, there's 2 different, I've seen it both ways. Results driven is one of them, and the other one is relevant. So again, it makes sense with your goal. It's actually relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. And then T.
Time frame.
Yep, time-based or time-bound, time frame, exactly. Putting a time deadline to it. So I think that's easier to remember than these random words. It's the same idea. All right, so time blocking. In order to achieve your goals, you really do have to look at your calendar ahead of time and figure out when you're going to do this stuff. This is one of those things that if I do it, I feel so much more in control than when I don't do it. Has anybody really done a good job with setting up their calendar like the Friday before for the week ahead? And you don't have to do it perfectly.
I find it's so hard as a real estate agent to do that.
It
Because
is.
like I feel maybe this is exactly why I need to do it. I wasted like 3 days trying to figure out how to time block.
Oh gosh, oh no.
Yeah, so for me it was I've found that like, but I guess it's like what you said before about how if this has to happen at this time for a client, then you need to just move this, like shift this.
Yes.
And I think a little too black and white sometimes about that.
Yeah, I think this is, and I'll show you guys mine. Let me show you. I think just putting in the thought is important, even if doesn't end up being perfect and you don't follow it. Putting the thought behind it is a good start. So let me get mine pulled up in the tab. Let's pull up for you. Let's see.
So just in like regular everyday life, I've had a planner for, years now. I had a 9-to-5 before. And even, with that, at certain times, I'd write little things, which some people might think it's silly, but I'd write, drink water, go outside for 5 minutes. In my planner, I'd write little things because I'd get so distracted. And those things make such a big difference. I've been doing that since, God, probably when I started to be responsible after 22. But,
Well, my mom would just be proud I know what a calendar is. So
yeah, 21 and before, don't even talk to me about, but
at least you got it together in your 20s.
Yeah, I'm heading towards the late 20s, but it makes such a difference. Even writing at like 5 o'clock, wake up, get your coffee, like 5:30, make your bed. And people are always like, wow, you're so organized. And it's like, I do it on Friday or Sunday, depending, and I just plan out the whole week. And I'll write some things in pencil because of course, you can't plan your whole day.
Right.
It's life gets in the way, but you can erase it or write arrows. And for me, it's just made such a big difference.
Yeah. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just because we live in a technology world doesn't mean you have to use all the technology. Just I'm making it okay for you guys.
I'm a paper. I have everything literally in just an actual paper planner and in my phone, but this is like my go-to.
What's the best kind of system? It's a trick question. The system you use.
Which one? Yeah, whatever one works for you, right?
Exactly. The best system is the system you use. Exactly.
Well, and
So-
plus your habits, your everyday habits. It's what you do every day and every week, every month of your life, your habits,
Yeah.
your routines.
Yeah.
Everybody has routines and you just
Exactly.
follow, you live by it.
Yeah.
Mentally writing down or whatever, but routines.
Right, exactly. And sometimes your routines have to shift around a little bit, especially in real estate. But I use a mix of an actual paper planner and my Google Calendar. And I left this is a couple weeks ahead, but I'll show you guys. Like, this is not time blocked yet, but I do have things in here that I know are happening. You're going to have that. Like, I have my team meeting every Wednesday at 10. I have my coaching session every Tuesday at 11. I've got my TLC, I've got my team leader Zoom call. So that's all. Oh, I have a reminder to pay a bill. But anyway, and I have a hair appointment, but that's okay. You have your stuff in there. So what you guys would go in and you would fill in, like I would say, okay, from 9 to 10, I'm going to do my 20%. And I'm not telling you, don't put 20% on your list, put specifically what you're going to do, but just to give you an idea, and then you can color code it. So I like to color code mine in green because green means, what does green mean? Money.
Money. That's why banks are green.
Right. So you go in and you put in your time blocks for your 20%. And you schedule this every week. Whoops, 20%. Now, the other thing that you may want to do is pre-block appointment slots. See, I have that.
That's
here.
smart.
Yeah. Now you may end up going like this, you know what I mean? But at least you've got them in there to kind of hold space. Okay. So a good habit to get into is getting your time blocking done. All right, let me get back to PowerPoint here. Okay. All righty. All right, and then another huge important part of being successful is accountability. In the one thing, Gary Keller cites Dr. Gail Matthews, who found that individuals who wrote down their goals are 39.5% more likely to succeed. Individuals who wrote down their goals and shared progress reports with a friend were 76.7% more likely to succeed. So accountability is super important. Okay. It's a crucial part of achieving goals. When you report to someone else what you have done to make progress on your goals, you gain more focus and motivation. Think about accountability as a process. It's difficult to maintain drive over the long term, but when you have to defend your activities to an objective observer, it becomes easier to stay focused. Isn't that true? Like, have you guys ever joined like a Facebook group or something just for the accountability of it? Like a fitness group or something like that, where you're like, hey, I'm going to start working out 5 days a week, and I'm telling you here so that somebody will ask me how I'm doing. Have you guys ever done that before? It's a silly little thing, but it's when you expect somebody to ask you, you're far more likely to do it. So what are ways that you guys can create accountability in your world? I know we all have in our market center some good opportunities. Do you guys have any opportunities where you can create some accountability for yourself?
Yeah, like on Facebook, like every time I work out, I'll take a picture of myself in the gym behind me, and I'll say what day it is, and I'll say I did 30 minutes on rowing machine, next weight room. Then I add some good things, have faith, and have smile at everybody and be nice to everybody. So that's why I put my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Of course, I have a mask on too,
Good. You're following the rules. Good for you. It's nice when people comment too. It gives you a little.
Oh yeah, it is. And it motivates you, makes you do more. Not only motivates you yourself, but you're going to motivate other people. Okay. Yeah. And when you motivate other people, it makes you feel good.
Yep.
There's a double standard. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's important. If you can feel good and make somebody else feel good, then you're complete.
That's a really good way to look at it. Maybe you guys can be the inspirers in your market center where you're showing up and you're doing the work, and other people are looking to you and saying like, that's what I should be doing. If that's enough to drive you every day, that's a great big why to have. I do a silly little thing I shouldn't say this. I learned recently not to downplay your own like things that you do. Like you shouldn't say that I do a silly thing, but I just said it, so it's too late. It's already out there. But I do a thing where I was doing like a Facebook series every day, and it started during COVID with our market center where I did like a little Facebook Live each day, and it was a business challenge. And I gave everyone a little business challenge to do every day just to kind of keep them going, and something small and easily doable during COVID. But I started tacking on little health tips to that because that's a big part of my life and it's something that I'm passionate about. So in addition to like writing 5 notes today, I would say go out and take a walk or drink, a large bottle of water, something like that. Well, a really good friend of mine here in the market center said, hey, Andrea, you should start doing those on Facebook just to your regular Facebook world. So I did. And then I was like, well, maybe I could do it on YouTube just for fun. But I was really scared about it. And I was nervous to get it started for a lot of reasons, but I knew if I gave myself an accountability and a deadline that I would get it done. So I announced to my Facebook sphere that I was going to start April 1st doing better. It's called Better Day by Day on YouTube. And I was like, oh, shoot. I'm like, now I said it. So now I have to get it done. Well, sure enough, I posted that first video by April 1st because I didn't want to be embarrassed that I said I was going to do it and I didn't do it. So can you tell some people publicly, if you don't want to go that far and tell like the whole world or tell your whole sphere, you can, get with a buddy and they can hold you accountable. You guys probably have productivity coaching programs in your market center.
So I'm with Capital District. There's something called the Launch Program. So I actually just got set up with it yesterday.
Perfect.
With my launch partner, and once a week at this certain time. But it holds me accountable because I'm reporting, to him, what have I done
right
past week, and I don't know about other people, but I don't want to go to somebody and be like, hey, guess what? I did nothing. Like,
it feels horrible.
So
perfect.
That's nice. It's like this time at noon or this day at noon, tell me what you did, tell me what you didn't do, tell me when you did it, how you did it.
Yep.
And it's kind of nice. Obviously to have somebody as guidance when you need it, but that's a great example of accountability.
Perfect example. Yeah, the Launch Partner Program is great to get involved with if you guys can. And I know every market center is a little bit different in what they offer. So my market center has something similar. It's called performance coaching, but it's just the same idea. I don't know about what other market centers are you guys with? Are you guys all with Capital District?
Right
I'm
now.
with Greater Rochester.
Okay.
Yeah,
Greater
we're
Rochester. What do you guys have in Rochester that would be a way that you could add some accountability to your day-to-day or your week-to-week, I should say? You guys have productivity coaching?
So we have the opportunity to go in and see the communications director each week.
Oh, okay.
Which is nice. And she helps you with everything with command, and that's very helpful.
Perfect. Yeah, you could have her hold you accountable to setting up a smart plan or something. And then, you may have to ask for the accountability. I'll say that. You may have to say, hey, and she totally will, or he, I don't know if it's who is your
Her name's Abby. I don't know, Theerden or
Theerden.
Okay. But she even helped me yesterday set up a postcard. I thought this was so cool in Command. You could select your neighborhood, but also select individual homes that you want to send a postcard out. And you can say like, hi, I'm not only your neighbor, but I'm a realtor. Let me know.
Oh,
yeah. We'll talk about it. So anyway, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, you could add to that. You could say, hey, Abby, I want you to hold me accountable to something small each week and say, will you just ask me next week if I sent my postcards out or something like that. So you may have to ask for it, but if you ask for it, people will do it for you. And that might inspire them too. They may be like, hey, yes, as long as you hold me accountable to whatever she wants to do. So just an idea.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys get to be the mega agents that I know you're going to be someday, there is an amazing accountability program called MAPS Coaching, and that is wonderful. It is an investment. It's $1,000 a month, which seems crazy right now, but you guys are going to get there. Don't worry. But these are highly trained, amazing coaches who, you get a coaching call with them every week, and it's really, really worth it. There's a lot of benefits to being in MAPS Coaching too. You get your family reunion ticket for free and your mega camp ticket, and they always send you like cool swag when they have like big events. Like they just sent us, I got this funny little sign for during spring masterminds, but they'll send like little mugs and cool stuff. It's really, really a great thing. If you guys get to that point, I would highly recommend it. So, alrighty. So any other thoughts on accountability?
Andrea, another accountability thing we do on Thursdays in Keller Williams is we have a data blast every Thursday night from 5 to 7. You guys can join via Zoom, or you can sign up to come to the office. Shauna Edwards sponsors that because she's our performance coach.
Nice.
So you will learn something new and how to market and reach out to your database in this market specifically. So,
Very cool. It's called a data blast.
Data blast.
Yeah, and it helps with like figuring out how like any of those issues that we find ourselves in a conversation with the client or a lead, and she helps you navigate around them.
Yeah, she goes over scripts. She goes over ways to reach out to, like we do expired FISBOs, just your net and nurture touches to your inner circle, your circle of influence, sphere of influence. Every week she picks something, and then PC coaching happens on Mondays at 8:30. You got to finish Ignite and have a couple of deals, I guess, underneath your belt. But the thing that Olivia does, that launch program, it's to help new agents for the first 3 transactions. So if anybody's interested in that, I would contact Victoria.
Okay, cool. Is your data blast thing, is that on Zoom or is that in person?
It's Zoom or in person. A lot of people join via Zoom because technically we're only supposed to have like 10 people in the office.
Is that a Capital District thing though, Michelle?
Yeah, it's a Capital District one every Thursday. And then sometimes the peak team will come in. They have their once a month care calls. So there's a contest and a theme. Like they had March Madness, then they had like bingo. So you can actually join them on a once a month Thursday. They literally carve out like, I think it's 2.5 hours to just do care calls, reach out to their sphere, follow up with some of their prospects.
Michelle, could you, I guess I could reach out to Carrie. I'm just curious as a team leader if I might be able to sit in and watch that one week.
Yeah, I can send you the link. If you
mind?
Oh, you want me to say something to her?
No, I gotta go meet her.
Okay, so,
Sorry, I muted. I'm gonna put my email in the,
Yeah, I'll email you the data blast one. You can.
that would be amazing. I'd like to see what that is, because maybe we can do something similar in my market center.
Yep, it's always, Zoom's always available because not everybody can show up.
Right.
I'll send it to you and I'll get my phone. Send it to you.
Fabulous, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so even if it's just buddying up with a buddy too, you guys could create an accountability partner here in this group and just say, hey, once a week we're gonna Zoom, and you could use a really simple conversation, just a few questions like, how'd you do? What were your challenges? What were your wins? What are you doing next week? 4 easy questions. And you just have a quick little accountability session. So but I cannot stress the importance enough of creating accountability in some way, shape, or form, because it will absolutely help you guys get to the next level. Like 100%, no doubt about it. So any other thoughts on accountability? Now, you guys are maybe a little bit lucky. I don't know, but so I put my email address in the chat. I unfortunately cannot sit on with you today while you do your daily success activities, but that doesn't mean you don't get to do them. I want you to do them. Would you guys, because I have a board event that I have to be on, would you guys be willing to email me how you did with your success habits after today? I would love that if you guys would email me and let me know how you did. But before I also wanted to mention another quick little tip for you guys when you're doing your time blocking, before we share ahas. So get your ahas in your mind. The Pomodoro technique. Has anyone ever used the Pomodoro technique for time blocking or heard of it before? Again, with all the Italian food, I'll tell you, it's making me hungry. Could be the hormones.
Teach me,
What's that?
teach me, because time blocking is not, I'm telling you,
Yeah, I'll
I'm
teach.
not good with my time.
Fabulous for somebody who has ADHD, which I also have. I'll share with you guys because you're a cool group.
It's me. I also do.
Oh, okay, so all right.
I
so
have medicine for it, so it
Yeah.
helps.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I hear you. So the Pomodoro technique is a technique where you do short blocks of 25 minutes. There are great apps out there that you can download that you can set 25-minute timers. But what you do is you take your activity and you set a timer and you work on it for 25 minutes. As soon as that timer goes off, you completely disconnect for 5 minutes. You scroll social media, whatever, maybe don't do that, but get up, walk around for 5 minutes, then you go back to it for 25 minutes. You do that for 4 blocks, and then you take a long, like 30-minute break. But it's a really good way to just get a lot of good work done, take a break. Because by our human way is that we don't really focus that well for that long. I'm sure you guys have noticed that with these Zoom classes. I don't know about you, but Zoom classes have been really hard for me, especially now that that's all we do. I'm hoping to get back, but yeah, we only can pay attention for so long, right? So the Pomodoro technique is a really good way to maximize your time blocking because it keeps you at your peak focus. So I just want to share that with you. All right, everyone. So what were your ahas from today? Did you enjoy class? I hope you did. I really like
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I did learn a lot more about time blocking. I actually did time. Look, guys, look at this. You'll be so proud of me.
Look at you. That makes me so proud. Good
But now we got to do that every week.
Yes, do it on a Friday or a Sunday, but don't do it Monday morning, because if you do it Monday morning, you're already off track for the week.
Right.
So-
So it's never too late to start a habit.
Yeah, and
Just
the
as
hard part
Ken
is-
is just pointing out right now, it's never too late.
Nope, it is never too late.
Talking about fitness, I lost over 50 pounds because one day I said, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to stay committed. And it was a long journey.
Yeah.
But it was consistency, and I developed new habits along the way. And so now I stay to those habits. Time blocking, all these other things that we're all talking about, guys, you can start implementing them literally right now and just stay. And it's just consistency. So stay positive, stay focused.
And even if you fall off, you just start again. And everybody does,
Yes,
teach
life
yourself
happens.
for that.
Life happens.
Yep. So any other ahas from today? You guys are awesome. I enjoyed my morning with you. It helped me feel okay from my morning sickness that I've been enjoying not. Actually, I've been feeling okay the past couple of days, but it was
Hope
tough.
you have a good pregnancy then.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good sign. So, all right, everyone. Well, I put my email in things. So if you would email me how your success habits went. Now, what are you going to do after we get off the call? What are you going to do? Tell me one thing.
Take a shower.
Time block with me.
You're going to do your time blocking. Okay, good. If you haven't done that, that's important. Yep.
Definitely.
Take a shower. You're not allowed to take a shower yet. You have who, Scott? You can't take a shower yet. You have to do your success activity first.
Trust me, I had to take a shower.
All right.
I worked out right before this. I smell.
Are you going to do your success activities after that?
Correct.
Good. All right. What else? What else are you guys going to do? Make 5 calls, send 5 texts?
I'm probably gonna call Michelle and have her, Michelle, just to let you know I'm calling you. But just do a little bit of accountability prior to making some more calls.
All right. Make at least 1 call, guys. Just make at least 1. See if you can challenge yourself to do that. I know it's tough, but start small. I know you can do it. Make at least 1 call. Okay.
I'm gonna call my friends, all my contacts.
There you go.
You know,
Easy.
all my friends, they know me. They won't hang up the phone, and we'll have a good conversation. And
Good.
that squeeze in. Remember, you told me to sell your house in the summertime. Just make a nice, pleasant conversation. Smile and enjoy.
People know you, like you, and trust you. You can say, "Hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate right now?" I'd be so grateful. Who's going to be mad at you for asking that question if they know you, like you, and trust you, right? don't think anyone would be upset with you for that, but you don't know until you ask. Or maybe take a few minutes to define what your thing is going to be. If you're struggling with figuring out your method for lead generation, maybe take a minute and brainstorm, like, what do I really love to do? And see if you can tie that into real estate in some way, shape, or form. That would be a good use of your time for sure.
Her example in the beginning with ripping up that piece of paper is
Yeah.
phenomenal. That impacted me far greater than that little demonstration, because I've sat on some training classes just like the rest of y'all. Nobody ever explained it to me that way, because when I heard cold calling, when I hear this and I hear that, that man, him and I relate, because I was like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, right.
But,
If you can take Quantum Leap with Dick Dillingham, you definitely should. It's amazing.
so that was one of my ahas. I've never seen that before.
I agree 100%. I really like that.
Oh, good. I'll let Dick Dillingham know that you guys liked it. But no, it was huge for me when the first time I saw it, it was huge. So I tend to bring that up, as many times as I can, because I think it does resonates with people.
Can't believe it. Look at what you just did. Oh, sorry, he's coloring crayons and he's getting them all over my laptop.
Aw.
I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I'm sorry.
Okay, I get it. I'm a mom. I get it. So, all right. Is that anything else before we say goodbye? You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, I look forward to
Emily,
seeing your
tips on
email.
how to get crayon off your laptop?
That I don't. Maybe a magic eraser. Try that. All right, guys. Well, have a great day. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
Have a
Audrey.
wonderful day.
You're
Take care of
Thank you.
yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
welcome.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Chris.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes, I
hold-
told you I was
hold
calling
on
you.
a second. Wait, what happened? Wait, give me a second. I didn't leave the meeting and I'm